It is my pleasure to introduce to you Brother Byron C. Lattimore. He's a native of Dallas, Texas, received a BBA in business marketing from Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas in 1992. Following his graduation, he spent 13 years at Nations Bank, which is Bank of America, where he worked in several capacities, most notably the Treasury Management and Financial Reporting and the Bankruptcy Division. In 2008, he earned his MBA in Financial Services from the University of Dallas, Irving. Brother Lattimore has served 20 years in this fraternity and has been a proven leader. He's held several chapter offices, including strategist, keeper of exchequer, keeper of records, vice polemarch, and polemarch. He was selected to the board of directors for the 501c3 partner Guidewright Foundation of Dallas, and served as board chairman from 2014 to 2021. The fundamental purpose of Kappa Alpha Psi's achievement. Brother Lattimore has also been appointed to provincial and national positions within the fraternity. He was appointed Southwest Province newsletter editor and journal coordinator by Chuck Carr Brown in 2006 and served until 2014. He was appointed by the 31st Grand Polemarch, Dwayne Murray, to serve as Assistant Grand Chapter Meeting Planner 2007 to 2011. And from 2017 to 2019, he served as National Panhellenic Coordinator, having been appointed to that role by the 33rd Grand Polemarch, Thomas Battles. He currently serves as the Southwestern Province Coordinator Chairman for St. Jude Hospital fundraising campaign, having been appointed by Timothy Albert in 2015, and has helped the Southwest Province raise over $327,000 for the hospital. Brother Lattimore actively serves the Dallas community in various capacities as well. And in his spare time, he enjoys keeping up with the latest technology, sports, basketball, tennis, and golf, reading, and following local and national politics. And most importantly, spending time with family, friends, and fraternity brothers. The fundamental purpose of Kappa Alpha Psi's achievement. Please welcome our keynote speaker, Brother Byron C. Lattimore.
Here's to Brother Lattimore, Brother Lattimore, Brother Lattimore. Here's to Brother Lattimore, he's with us tonight. He's with us, God bless him, God bless him, he needs it. Here's to Brother Lattimore, he's with us tonight. Oh, he's a jolly good fellow, oh, he's a jolly good fellow, oh, he's a jolly good fellow. And where's the diamond in speech?
Thank you so much for that introduction. Elder Watson Diggs stood quietly before 9 young men. The eager faces told him to begin. But he was grazing far past this campus ground and challenging the world as he looked around. Diggs at the helm, 9 men at his feet. A campus his ship, these men his fleet. No wonder the earth trembled beneath every tree. As his voice rang out, I see fraternity. No man was ever prouder than he, for before him sat Armstrong, Asher, Blakemore, Lee. Men like Grant, Alexander would always remain to work beside Edmonds, Irvin, and Kane. Now after long days and nights I plea, for my poor soul burns for fraternity. Not just here, not just for us. On every campus, Negro youth are left to rust. We must not tarry, our course is set. Let us here now cast our net. Not for profit, not for gain, but for men to achieve, for men to attain. Upon Indiana soil, we lay our foundation. Kappa Alpha Psi shall be our creation. O God, we're here to embark to sea, for tonight I see fraternity. And in this your year, 1911, guide us forth from your seat in heaven. Let us build brotherhood wherever we go, until campus after campus will Kappa men know. Teaching men to achieve will be our goal. The world our stage, achievement our role. And so here we meet, unhappy though free, as my burning soul cries, I see fraternity. Many of you no doubt will recognize that poem by the late great Congressman Louis Stokes, Esquire, and the 51st recipient of the laurel wreath. I echo his sentiment, for tonight I also see fraternity. Greetings to the pole mark of this chapter, Brother Fontenot, to all of the brothers of the Opelousas Alumni chapter, brothers all and silhouettes. With protocol having already been established, I do want to take a special moment to acknowledge a special brother that's here tonight, and that is the person of our 31st Grand Pole Mark, Dwayne M. Murray, Esquire. I acknowledge him not only as a past Grand Pole Mark, but also one of the most recent recipients of the laurel wreath. And I'm glad I can congratulate you in person, brother, for that achievement. Brother Murray is a person that I deeply admire and respect for his leadership in the fraternity. And as you heard in my bio, he was one of the first brothers that tapped me for service, for greater service in Kappa outside of Dallas Alumni, when he appointed me the Assistant Grand Chapter Meeting Planner. And I had the privilege and the responsibility of helping to plan and execute the 79th Grand Chapter Meeting in Washington, D.C., and also the 80th Grand Chapter Meeting, our centennial celebration in Indianapolis. There's one other brother I want to acknowledge as well. He flew here all the way from Dallas, Texas. He is a past Southwestern Province Pole Mark, a 2005 recipient of the Elder Watson Diggs Awardee. He is in the person of my own father, Emerson Lattimore. Thank you, Pops. It means a lot for you to be here tonight. Speaking of my father, when I received the email from Dr. Sean Comedy a few weeks ago regarding his invitation for me to be the keynote speaker at this ominous occasion, I felt a little bit like Gary Coleman. Many of you recall his role as Arnold Jackson on the TV show Different Strokes. And whenever Gary Coleman or his character Arnold Jackson would hear something from his older brother Willis that he couldn't quite understand or couldn't quite wrap his head around, he would turn his head to the side and give Willis this look and say, "What you talking about, Willis?" And so when I received this email from Dr. Comedy, that's how I felt. "What you talking about, Newt? Are you sure this invitation is for me?" Normally, invitations to be the keynote speaker will go to the senior Lattimore, not to me. "So are you sure this email is for me?" But he assured me that he did want me to be the keynote speaker. So for those of you that may have been wondering, you did get the right Lattimore tonight. As we take this opportunity to celebrate the founding of this noble clan of ours and commemorate our founders, we look back, but let's also take time to bring things forward to right now as we take a closer look at the theme of the 34th Grand Pole Mark and his administration, brother to brother, breaking barriers and building bridges. As I put together these brief thoughts, it occurred to me that Brother Grant Poe Mark Shelton's theme is really an expression, a reinterpretation, a 21st century iteration, if you will, of what our founders went through in the creation and expansion of our beloved fraternity. Let us always be reminded, brothers, the state of Indiana became a stronghold for the Ku Klux Klan. Their intolerance toward blacks fueled the negative mindset of other whites residing there. Vigilante lynchings of blacks were commonplace. This environment made day-to-day life for blacks an arduous task, and attempts to successfully achieve in school nearly impossible. Despite the growing hostility of whites toward blacks in Indiana, some black students sought a college education at Indiana University. However, few blacks could remain longer than a year or so without having to withdraw in search of employment. The campus of Indiana University at that time did not encourage the assimilation of blacks. The administration maintained an attitude of indifference as blacks slowly matriculated and were likewise swiftly forgotten. The percentage of blacks on campus was less than 1%. Blacks could go weeks without seeing one another on campus. Blacks were not allowed to reside in on-campus dormitories, were not afforded off-campus accommodations, and they were also denied the use of all other university facilities. Brothers, our founders had to work brother to brother in order to matriculate at IU, in order to create this great organization of ours, in order to simply survive. They first shared in the light of Kappa all those many years ago, and now that light of Kappa has spread to the four corners of the globe. An unknown but not unwise poet once wrote these words, "In my hands I hold a candle whose flame is small to see. And if I give but one light to you, my life is filled for me. But in your hands you hold a torch for many eyes to see. So hold it high that they may light their candle wicks from thee." Brothers, we now share in that same light, and we have the privilege and the responsibility to hold high that light, the light of our achievement, the light of our brotherhood, the light of our leadership, the light of our service. We may not face the same obstacles or challenges our founders faced, but for the challenges we do have, and for the opportunities presented to us now, we must continue to work brother to brother and hold high that Kappa light so that it illuminates our respective college campuses and local communities. Why, as ESPN personality and closet Dallas Cowboys fan Stephen A. Smith might say, because Kappa Alpha Psi is a special organization. It is a unique organization. It is a great organization, unlike no other on earth. It is us, it is we, the men who are a part, that make it so. And it was our 10 founders that set the standard. Each founder had his own talent, his own personality, his own contributions to make. And so without them, we would not be here. As we all know, today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. He was one of the greatest orators of the 20th century, for any century for that matter. And while I pale in comparison to him as a speaker, if I were to try to emulate one of his classic riffs, I would say that I am forever grateful for the determination and dream of Diggs, for the attention to detail of Armstrong, for the level-headedness of Lee. I am grateful for the bold sacrifice of Blakemore, for the inspirational involvement of Irvin, for the audacious ambition of Asher. I am grateful for the culinary expertise of Kane, for the medical acumen of Alexander, for the great example set by Grant, and for the work ethic of Edmonds. And as we continue to work brother to brother, I am also grateful that artificial differences of race, creed, color, and economic status have no place in the thinking or planning of Kappa Alpha Psi. Attitudes of social distance are frowned upon, dedicated as we are to universal brotherhood and the cause of achievement, as so eloquently stated by our 16th Grand Polemarch, the legendary C. Roger Wilson. I am also grateful that our fraternity is not restrictive when it comes to faith, but still founded on Christian ideals, as read on page 2 of the story of Kappa Alpha Psi, the ideals of brotherly love, charitable works, and service to those in need. I am grateful for this chapter that has groomed and produced not one, but 2 grand pole marks in Richard Millspaw and Dwayne Murray. I am grateful for innovative leaders at all levels, for the energy and vitality of our undergraduate members, for the wisdom and experience of our senior Kappas. I am grateful for the inspirational achievements across the globe, for the example we set. And I am grateful for our 5 guiding principles, our 5 guiding objectives, our 3 lasting virtues, and for our 1 fundamental purpose. But as I was told as a neophyte many years ago, Kappa is not utopia. It is not Valhalla in the Norse Viking tradition. It is not the Elysian fields of Roman mythology. It is not the paradise for those that practice Islam, nor is it heaven on earth in reference to the Christian faith. No, it is not perfect, but it is our responsibility to do our part to make it better. And so with that, we must also continue our work of breaking barriers. Breaking barriers does not just mean setting a new mark, but breaking through to new ideals while maintaining time-honored traditions. Our founders broke racial and societal barriers. Sad to say, 111 years later, there are still racial and societal barriers to break. But now we have more skills, more resources, more knowledge, more expertise to break not only those barriers, but to break economic barriers, educational barriers, political barriers, and cultural barriers. From 2009 to 2011, I had the honor, privilege, and responsibility of serving as my chapter's 35th pole mark. The theme for my administration was derived partially from the national theme for the 31st administration led by Brother Murray. My theme for the chapter was creating inspiration by achieving more. The word MORE was an acronym which stood for maximizing opportunities, resources, and efforts. So as we continue breaking barriers, we must also continue maximizing opportunities, our resources, and our efforts, because there's always one more worthy cause to support, one more service project to be completed, one more dollar to be raised, one more undergraduate to be advised, one more Kappa leaguer to be mentored, and one more brother to be reclaimed. We must each do our part so collectively we can break even more barriers. Because when we break barriers, we open up opportunity. We alleviate limited thinking. We nullify negative perceptions, and we supersede stereotypes. Lastly, brothers, we must continue our work of building bridges. While it is important, Kappa must not just build bridges to other communities, but we must build bridges within our community, because that is not only important, it is imperative. We must build bridges between the senior Kappas and younger members, between alumni chapters and our undergrads. Build bridges between Kappa Alpha Psi and the other members of the Divine Nine. We must build bridges. After all, what is a bridge anyway? It is simply a way over, a problem solver, a connector, and an eliminator of that which would seek to divide us. And by building bridges in every field of human endeavor, we ultimately make things better for those who are to follow. Our founders did that. They built bridges to campuses and then to other cities with alumni chapters so that Kappa could grow and expand and evolve and have an even greater impact. And so let us continue building bridges in business, in law, in medicine, in STEM, in politics, in the arts, in religion, in education. We are the talented 10th Du Bois wrote about. We are the leaders we have been seeking. We are the men who can get it done. We are the Kappa men who can make a difference. Brothers, as I take my seat, I'm reminded of a poem I learned during the beginning of my process, which next month will be 20 years. When I first heard the name of the author, Brother T.L. Cunningham IV, I thought for sure this was a brother who had passed on to the chapter Invisible. He probably knew and hung out with the founders, knew several past grand pole marks, probably was a province pole mark of some sort, a legendary brother. I later came to find out that this was a brother who wrote this poem as an undergrad. We were about the same age. He was initiated at the Alpha Z of Kappa Alpha Psi, the Rock of the South at Florida A&M University. And we actually met when we both competed representing our schools, Texas Southern and FAMU, at Campus All-Star Challenge in Los Angeles at the national tournament in 1991. Brother Thomas L. Cunningham later went on to become a member of the journal staff. He's a great brother who's become a good friend of mine. And so it was T.L. or Thomas L. Cunningham IV who raised this question. Who is Kappa for? One would think the answer plain, but I'm confused. So once again, the question, to whom does Ka Psi belong? Is it for the bro who says hello and then does a brother wrong? Maybe it's for the one who just pays his dues, the kind of man who would not lose a wink of sleep if Kappa were to live or fade away. I'm puzzled still, so let me ask once more, if I may, who is Kappa for? The answer floated back to me as if from the golden shore. Kappa is for those who are for Kappa, it washed upon the sand. For those who are for Kappa. And though we may be distanced by age, wealth, or land, we are a union, a bond that must endure the test of time, for Kappa is not yours, my brother, nor is Kappa mine, but it is ours. And since it is ours, we all must learn to share that prize of gold with young and old. For Kappa, this I swear. Brothers, as we ponder that question, and as we take time tonight to honor our 10 revered founders, let us move together as one Kappa. In the spirit of Phi Nu Pi, let us work, let us serve, and let us lead, brother to brother, breaking barriers and building bridges. Thank you.